How childhood cancer affects our lives. This extends into our class because, well, first off, I chose this topic and it connects with our course study of communication because childhood cancer makes us have this self concept that this is something that will never happen to us, and it changes the way we look at ourselves. Um, you need to be a good listener when it comes to learning new facts and information about childhood cancer, and everyone uses a wide variety of communication skills to talk about childhood cancer and to try and bring more awareness to this issue. The reason I found this topic was I actually chose it based off of my own interest and my personal experience with going through it and dealing with it. People are not very informed about how often it occurs and the statistics. And so that's another reason I chose it, just to kind of bring more awareness to the topic. Um, and by using communication skills and, the different communication skills that we use, we will be able to expand our knowledge upon the subject. And this is relevant to everyone because being able to communicate this helps bring more awareness and just make people more aware and know more about the topic and how they can help and how they can be of, more use to others who are going through it or who have made or who, are not really aware of it. One of the quotes that I found, according to the NCI, says it is a leading cause of death by disease past infancy among children in the United States. And I find this to be very true in almost all the research you do. This is one of the the top causes of death. If you look it up, it's not on like the top 10 health issues, but it is pretty far up there. You'd be surprised. It's kind of like your chance of winning the lottery is kind of like your chance of getting cancer. And I attached a video, and this video shows, how kind of cancer can take over our lives, and you're kind of like afraid of the unknown and trying to prepare for the best. But people don't think about all the side effects or the things that come with it. But we have this self-concept that it's something that'll never happen to us. In chapter 2, we talk about the self-perception and communication, and I chose to focus on, the self, because, again, going back to that self-concept that it's something that we think will never happen to us or we'll never get. But when we get sick or when we know someone who gets sick, it affects our perceived self because then we see ourselves as weak, different, in total isolation. And there were 2 quotes that I pulled out from an article saying that the illness and its treatment affect the self-concept of children negatively. And I find that to be true based on personal experience. Part of the article shows how children perceive themselves, while they are sick, and a lot of them actually, descriptions included a bald little boy, a girl without hands, a boy wearing a mask, a boy with no body parts, a boy with wings. And so, it's kind of those self-concepts that we have being sick. And I know when I was sick, I had the self-concept that, oh, I'm not like everybody else. I'm not normal. Why can't I have a normal life? In chapter 5, we talk about listening, and for childhood cancer specifically, you need to be a supportive listener so you can help the speaker. You can give supportive responses by advising, analyzing, questioning, and comforting. Listening to the needs of a patient is very important when dealing with this because you need to know what they're feeling and how you can help them. And I remember this one time when I had a pain management team come in and tell me that I needed morphine to help me get through my pain. And, instead of listening to me, they kept trying to force me to get a pain pump, which is something that I didn't want. In chapter 6, we talk about nonverbal communication, and you don't really see a lot of this used in the hospital, but you can see it between the patient and the doctors. And I think one of the biggest nonverbals is using manipulators. So that's like when someone's fidgeting around, and like it could just seem that they are uninterested in the conversation or what's going on. And if their eyes wander, it could mean that they're trying to avoid confrontation. But when someone gets really silent, it could show affect displays, of them trying to show their emotional state. And how this furthers our understanding of communication is because communication is a necessary tool that we need every day. And to be a good communicator, we need to know about how our surroundings can affect the way we perceive ourselves. We need to be able to listen to others and give confirming messages, as well as have assertive communication. And we need to have paralanguage and show affect displays. I think this topic overall furthers our understanding of communication because we see how communication goes a long way with everything. Not only this topic, but other topics. And there's certain things you need to know about communication in order to understand what's going on.